Hello. So, a few years ago, I was asked a question that changed my whole life. I actually came here today to ask you all the same question, so you can decide if it will change yours. This question was a thick line in the sand for me, a demarcation line, if you will. I'm here to tell you all about the mission I'm accomplishing and how it all started with this one question. Before being asked this question, I have to say I really had a lot of fun and had a lot of adventures in the world. I've salsa danced everywhere, Paris, South America, Central America. I've had such a great, abundant set of adventures, if you will. I've gotten a chance to eat delicacy. I was presented in Europe. I even got a chance to go to the Tomatina, and if you've ever been there, it's basically the largest food fight in Spain. It's a lot of fun. I've jumped out of a perfectly good airplane at 11,000 feet, just to see if I could do it. And scarier than that, I braved driving on the German Autobahn at over 130 miles per hour, and I never want to do that again. As I took on one adventure after another, I really thought I was going to be fulfilled and I was going to be happy. What really surprised me is that I actually wasn't for very long. This moment of discovery that I had actually occurred while I was in Peru. If you've ever been to Machu Picchu, it's basically considered one of the 7 great wonders of the ancient world. It is literally a city nestled like above the clouds someplace. It is just breathtaking. Towering higher than Machu Picchu itself is this peak called Picchu, and only a few hundred people are allowed to hike up there a day. So of course, as soon as I got there, beeline to the base of that mountain, and I looked up, afraid, but definitely determined to make it all the way to the top. What a lot of people don't know about me is I'm actually terrified of heights. So I climbed 1 million. That actually felt more like a bajillion steps to get to the top of this thing. At some points I felt like I was crawling on my hands and knees. We don't have very large steps. And I expected that when I got to the top, I was going to get some kind of enlightenment, or I was going to have a moment of Zen and Nirvana, right? I was actually just really winded. I will say that it was stunning, but what really hit me so hard was at the top of this mountain. Inside, I was actually a bit panicked because here I was. I had reached the top of something again, and it was kind of like all the other things I had done. It was a victory, definitely, but it was hollow. It really hit me that I actually wanted my life to be about something, and I really wanted to have more meaning. So that's why I climbed to get to that point. There was no enlightenment. Again, I just wasn't eternally fulfilled, so then it was time to get on a mission. Though I began to work with young people in mental health, it was actually pretty much business as usual for quite some time until I was asked the question that stopped me in my tracks. What is a problem worthy of your life? This question ultimately got me the kind of mountain I actually wanted to be on, the one that leads to my peace and my purpose, and as we joyfully up here with you all today. What's my new adventure? I collect anonymous handwritten letters for survivors. I collect anonymous handwritten letters, beautiful pieces of art for survivors. The word survivor can encompass so much, because really people can get through and endure almost anything. For the purpose of this talk, I will use the word survivor to say people who have experienced violence, rape, trauma, abuse. The letters on our website, aletterforyou.org, they're actually then read by survivors. And on this website, what's beautiful is that survivors get a chance to be given back something that's been robbed from them, right? Whether that's kindness, faith, hope, good intentions that other people have for them, They get to go to a place and they're all right there. It's now my life's mission to gather proof that survivors matter and that they're loved and they're cared for. Since answering the question, I've given my life to this cause, but unlike being on the top of Machu Picchu, there's really no panic. There's just peace and purpose. So let me ask you, what is a problem worthy of your life? What is a problem worthy of who you are? What's the problem that's going to make the sacrifices and conquering all of those impossible things that you'll have to conquer actually energizing? Answering this question can really build and solidify your character. Every step that you take is a building block to the foundation of who you're going to be and the missions you're going to accomplish. Once I asked this question, I really had to actually sit with myself and ask myself, okay, Cyd, what matters to you? I had to sit with what moves me and actually why I was moved. I liked helping people, but I actually had to deconstruct what that meant. What does it mean to help? And what part about it actually felt right? I realized the most important part was actually creating good and freeing up other people to do the same. So instead of saying yes to every opportunity that comes up, I now had a filter. Whenever something came up, I would ask myself, will this create good? Does this alleviate suffering? Does this elevate people in any capacity? And if not, how can it? Once I realized that there was a theme in my life, the problem or worthy of my life just kind of arose. I really got very simple truths about myself. The problem worthy of my life is alleviating suffering, elevating people, and creating good. After these pillars became clear, all of my choices became clear. The seeds for what's now become a letter for you actually started very early in my life. I would hear stories of neglect, pain, suffering, abuse, violence, trauma, rape, bullying. I would have friends who were soldiers who'd come back from war and they wouldn't have light in their eyes. And I knew that they would have to live with the violence that they saw, but also the violence that maybe they even had to perpetrate. Kids I knew got kicked out of their homes or lived in homes with monsters in them. I would talk to someone who survived cancer or knew someone who didn't, or people who had been humiliated by bullies or affected by someone else's suicide. Another friend of mine had such a debilitating disease that sometimes he didn't feel all that human. I would sit, I would listen, I would love, and I would just feel right alongside these incredible people. And honestly, I really didn't know what to say most of the time, or what to do, but I would just be there whenever they needed me. The idea for a letter for you actually came after visiting someone in a psych ward. I have to tell you, I've always hesitated to say that part. But I realize now how important that part actually is to my mission and my story. I always hesitated to say it because I didn't want people to think that a letter for you is about mental illness. Actually, a letter for you is so much more about creating emotional wellness in the world, actively, as people, as a community, as the world. The psych ward was a symptom to a much larger problem. It was actually the last stop on a train if people had no other way to process pain, process trauma. A letter for you is about how to anonymously hold out a hand for someone to grasp in the dark. I want you to just imagine that. It's about lighting a candle for someone in their darkest places. That's the opportunity of this project. I knew a young woman once. She was just vibrant and fun and alive, and I had a feeling that she was going through something hard. And about 2 days later, she ended up in the hospital. And when I asked her what happened, she admitted to me that she had been keeping her trauma a secret a really long time. And when I asked her why, she just said that she couldn't stand the idea that I would ever look at her any differently. Whew, man, in that moment, I've been my whole life sitting with people in their pain, and I never got or saw what she was trying to tell me in that moment. What this young woman helped me to realize is just how isolating the shame is of experiencing a trauma. This is why people don't express it. Right? Survivors don't talk about their trauma because they actually can't. I now understood that when survivors stay silent, they're actually doing it to avoid reactions, judgments, escape fears of rejection, even fears of blame. And I finally understood that it was okay. So many survivors of trauma, they just bottle it up until it bursts. I was hit with a really impossible mission then. How can I make a difference in something people hide all the time and never ever want to talk about? On the outside, I really like challenges, so that was okay. The psych ward to me was the last stop, and I really wanted to give people different options. I wanted to open windows for people so they could relieve pressure. It occurred to me that survivors, they actually deserve to know that they matter. A trauma survivor's been through something, and sometimes they've been hurt by someone they don't know, and sometimes they've been hurt by someone they trust. In the face of that broken trust and that pain, I actually really wanted to gather and display proof that that survivor and each survivor is actually surrounded by people who want them to be happy, healed, joyful. I asked the same young lady if she would be open to anonymous kindness, and she said yes. So that was the first day I wrote a letter, and I posted that letter online for her and survivors to find. I actually wanted to read another letter, not the one I wrote, but another letter that survivors have told me has made a huge difference for them. This is way more fun than a folder. Dear survivor, I'm not here to call you beautiful. That is actually for you to decide. I am here to tell you that you are worth it. Let's keep it simple. We are bigger than the things we can't control. You have character, but only after you decide you're worth putting in the work for it. I don't know what's responsible for making you feel any less than you actually are or have the potential to be, but you are here. And it is time to draw an imaginary line in front of you and say, ready, set, go. And at go, I hope, no, I beg that you run towards the finish line that holds the prize of the best you. Because you know you should love yourself enough to give yourself a chance. My last request is that when you cross that finish line, you turn your head back only to be proud. To be proud of yourself because you didn't let the hurdles you didn't put there stop you. Because when you fell, you loved yourself enough to pick yourself up and keep going. Because along the way, you showed good sportsmanship to someone else running the same race. Because you were kind, wise, and could relate. Every time we have but one choice, love or not love, I can only hope that you choose to rise above those who didn't. Those who blurred the lines and tainted the meaning of love for you. From the depths of my soul, I beg, you choose love, starting with yourself. Survivors, they survive. That alone, I respected and admired, and I really, really wanted them to know that. I realized after writing this letter, there were a lot of people out there who had something to say. Some people don't think they have anything to offer a survivor. I'm actually here to tell you that that's not true. No matter who you are and what you've been through, there is definitely something you can offer. I once asked a very distinguished older gentleman to write a letter, and we ended up in quite a debate because he was convinced that there isn't any value in getting something from a stranger. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw this young lady who looked almost identical to him, and I asked him if that was his daughter, and very proudly he said yes. And I smiled at him and said that she was really, really lucky to have a father like him, because not everybody does. Something clicked for him in that moment, and he got that he actually could make a difference. So he picked up the pen, he stopped talking, and now that letter is posted on A Letter for You, making a difference for survivors all over the place. I want each of you to know you can pick up a pen too and make that kind of a difference. A Letter for You creates a safe space that people can share letters of love and support to be read by people who are suffering. A Letter for You is proof that there are more people out there who care than who don't. We all have problems. I've just decided mine are going to be a little bit more interesting, like, how many letters can I collect? How many survivors are going to get a chance to read them? Can I write a book, create a play? Can this save lives? Last year, this young lady got pregnant in a way she didn't choose. She never told anybody, but she got on A Letter for You and read the letters. And now she sends me these incredible pictures of this perfect little baby girl. I want each of you to know that you are so powerful that everything you do has impact. But what they don't really tell you, and what's not as commonly known, is actually so is everything that you don't do. The missions you don't accomplish also have impact. And I've got to tell you, I have days where I think I should maybe stop this project because it gets really hard. It gets impossible sometimes. The stories that I hear are really painful. And sometimes I'm stuck with, okay, I don't know what to do next, and I don't know what to say. And when those moments of doubt come up, I ask myself, okay, what if there was no A Letter for You? What would have happened to that baby? And then I get back up. When you answer the question of what is a problem worthy of your life, there are no more impossible missions in the world. There are just puzzles you're going to end up creatively solving because they further your life's mission. What seems impossible will actually just become something you solve. Maybe you link up with other people. Maybe you just stretch and it's not about you anymore. When you know what you stand for and you can declare these seemingly impossible things and watch them unfold, when you're really committed, some of your dreams that actually come true kind of early. I'm going to find one of my dreams. It's in my pocket. I got to take this part off my wall this morning. And so even though A Letter for You's mission is most certainly far from complete, this leg is done today. This part of my mission got accomplished today. I want you all to know that whatever it is, the problem worthy of your life doesn't actually have to look anything like mine at all, because each of you has your own mission. If you're a survivor, I invite you to go on aletterforyou.org and take a look at what the world has to say to you. They have some incredible things that they're saying. If you're someone who cares, please write a letter to someone who's scared, alone, hurting, someone who doesn't know how to ask for your encouragement to keep going or how to ask for help. I invite each of you to search for a problem worthy of your life and take action. Go create something that wouldn't exist without you. Like when you say something's going to happen, you start a snowball rolling down a mountain, and by the end of all of that, you have this avalanche of change. What change do you want to see? What missions will you accomplish? A Letter for You has a goal of 1 million letters by 2020. I want you to imagine, just for a moment, what would our world be like when survivors see these letters and don't have to hide anymore? I thank each of you for giving me this opportunity to share meaningful moments of my life and my project with you. It has actually been the most humbling honor to be up here. I leave you all with a gift that is this question that holds the key to all the missions you've yet to accomplish. What is a problem worthy of your life? Thank you so much.